cholesterol is probably the biggest risk factor for stroke. And that's probably why people who are on Mediterranean diet, the Mediterraneans, they have less incidence of stroke compared to other people. So cigarette smoking, we spoke about, obesity, cholesterol, and atarodo. All right, so because high cholesterol is fairly big in stroke prevention, we'll talk about that more. Let me quickly add something about high blood pressure. I think, let's go. Yeah, okay. Low stress, low salt diet, good sleep hygiene. Very important in preventing high blood pressure and therefore stroke. The Bible is let's go back. On low stress, hypertension, low stress. Let me just say a word about that. The Bible is very rich about what you need to do to prevent worry and stress. There are so many verses about that, but the one I love the most is the one from Philippians chapter 4, verse 6 and verse 7. Can we have that on the screen, technical? While they are bringing that up, let me quickly lighten the mood with some historical perspective. Apostle Paul, the minister of state in the ministry of persecutions, wrote a letter to the Philippians in Macedonia. On the map today, Macedonia was where Greek is. And he wrote a letter to them. He said, "Be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God." Although I actually prefer the way NIV put it, but that's fine enough too. I will stay in my lane, like my children say. I will not steal the mojo of the next speaker, so I will not talk about stress and anxiety. All right, so let's go to the next slide, talk about cholesterol and round this up. So you want to, quickly, let me give you some numbers. So the recommended levels of cholesterol, we have the total cholesterol, the HDL. HDL means high density lipoproteins, LDL, and the triglycerides. It's recommended to reduce risk factors for stroke to keep the total cholesterol below 200, the HDL above 50, the LDL below 100, and the triglycerides below 150. So now, how do you do that? One, in your diet, you want to eat low saturated fats and trans fats and cholesterol with moderate amount of total fats. Let me quickly say, since most of us are from Nigeria here, palm oil, ekopukpa. You know how we like ekopukpa to put down our hand when we are eating? Palm oil contains palmitic acid. Palm oil contains palmitic acid. Palmitic acid is not good for your LDL. So when you see those with a bowl that is like you are talking to your brother or your uncle at home or your son. Anybody here old enough to be my dad? No, I don't think so. All right, so what are the major sources of saturated fats, which you don't want? Okay, the saturated fat is what you don't want. You want to eat more of the unsaturated fats. Whole milk, cream, butter, cheese, fatty cuts of beef and pork. I think I put pork there, is pork, P-O-R-K. Coconut, palm, and palm kernel. And these are also contained in donuts and pastries. And what are the major sources of trans fats, which you don't want to eat too much of it too? Deep fried foods. That's deep frying. Donuts and pastries, snack chips, margarine, imitation cheese, meat, and dairy products. I'm not saying we shouldn't eat any of these at all. We have to eat everything to moderation. And the major sources of cholesterol are eggs, milk products, meat, poultry, and shellfish. So like I said, when you are selecting margarine to eat, margarine, like I said, is better than butter. Select the soft margarine, not the hard one. Check the label. Make sure it contains no or little trans fat and has less than 2 grams of saturated fat in it. So I will round off by saying that this is a nutshell on how to prevent stroke. And if there are any questions, we'll be very happy to answer your questions. And until then, eat healthy, pray, and pray. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, sir. God bless you. We'll take a few questions. Do we have anybody with questions? Okay. All right. We don't want questions from questions, please, because of our time. So if you have questions now, please raise up your hand before it go. Okay. Pastor, you're number 2. First lady is number 1.
Thank you very much, sir, for that enlightening lecture. So my question is, you said if you've had a stroke for the first time, you're able to find out what caused the stroke to avoid it. So is it going to give you like the specifics of the cause of the stroke?
Neurologists will know what the cause of the stroke is. More than 9 out of 10 times, they know the cause of the stroke. And why it's important is this. Let me quickly say. Well, if someone has a condition called atrial fibrillation, in which the heart beats not just fast, but also irregularly, that condition predisposes the formation of blood clots inside the cavity of the heart. That blood clot could break, travel into the brain. Imagine if you have a stone the size of my fist in a pipe that is 5 feet in diameter. It's not going to block that pipe. But then when that stone is rolling down the pipe and it gets to smaller pipes that are smaller than its fist, it gets blocked. So water will not go past that stone because it has blocked that pipe completely. In the same vein, when that blood clot gets to a blood vessel in the brain that is too small for it to pass through, it's going to block that blood vessel completely, and the part of the brain that is supplied at that blood vessel will not get blood, and that is a stroke. So what doctors do is then to prevent you from having the second stroke, they prevent that heart from having atrial fibrillation. Of course, if one had a stroke when someone comes to the ER with a stroke, all those causes that I listed, diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, atrial fibrillation, and stuff like that, within 24 hours, you get tested for all those tests. So if someone comes to the ER with a blood pressure of 220 over 140, and every other thing is normal, then it's because of that person's stroke is the high blood pressure. Someone who comes to the ER with LDL of 250, and every other thing is normal, then the cause of that person's stroke is the high cholesterol. Then we give medications to prevent that cholesterol from going higher in the future. I don't know if I answer your questions or not.
Thank you very much, sir. And to also prevent clots from forming, once you feel like you're sitting down too much at your work, take a walk around. Don't sit down too much. Either you have the risk or not. That's another way to prevent blood from forming clots.
I got it, Mike.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so very much, Doctor, for this very insightful teaching and presentation. I came in somewhere in the middle, but my question has to do with practical experience I've had with about 3 people with stroke. One a lady, one a young man, another one a older lady. The lady had stroke because I used to think that stroke is older people that has it. But this person was around 40. And it was just sudden. But she recovered from it. The other young man was a pastor somewhere. He was going to church. Discovered that his leg was not pressing on the bottle. I mean, he told me he didn't know how he drove to church. In the two of them in the US. And for years, even when I saw him, the whole right was still not working well. And he still struggle with recovery from that till now. The other older woman passed with the same thing. My question is, what are the factors that contributes to recovery when you have that? And that was their first time having it. And I kind of was involved with them at some level. So what are the factors medically that contributes to that recovery? One recovered, the other one didn't recover, and things like that.
Thank you, sir. There are a couple of factors that determine how much recovery one makes and how much recovery one does not make. In other words, there is a very wide spectrum between someone who had a major stroke, dies in their sleep, another person had a stroke, and 6 weeks later, they are stronger than horses. Various factors involved. Number one is the site of the stroke. Can we have slide number 2 again? That one that shows the cerebral circulation. Just to explain the way I did before, imagine, yes, that one. So this blood vessel divides into 3. 1, 2, and 3. Imagine if someone had their stroke because this blood vessel is blocked. Now, this blood vessel supplies, okay, there's one on each side, left and right. There are some other blood vessels that come from the back, we call it the vertebral artery. But this one supplies about more than half of each side. So imagine if it is blocked here, that means more than half of the brain does not get any blood supply for that time. Unlike someone who had a blood clot here, this blood vessel supplies only this area. This one supplies this area. So the person who has the blockage here has lost more than 40% of the brain cells on that side, and the one who had a very small blockage on top probably lost only 5%. So the site of the blockage is important. 2, the speed at which the person is treated. Like I was saying earlier, if one comes to the hospital within 180 minutes or sometimes within 4.5 hours of a stroke, there are some doctors called intervention radiologists. They go through the groin, they thread a catheter from the groin up into here, and if they find a blood clot here, they mechanically take the blood clot out of the person. That person, if someone comes to the ER with stroke and it's within 180 minutes and you mechanically bring that clot out, you can see recovery within hours. That is how fast it will be. But someone who did not go to the hospital, and remember, time is heart cells, time is brain cells. Every minute that you don't get oxygen and through blood into the heart and the brain, cells die. And when many cells die, they don't come back. They cannot, many cells in the body, in the brain and the heart, they don't come back when they are dead. All right, so that's the second factor. So the size, the speed of recovery, and coming to my pastor's same specialty, rehab. The earlier you start the rehab, the more intensive the rehab is, the more focused the rehab is, the more likely you recover from it. If you miss any of these things, then recovery is less likely. Finally, risk factors. If the person, everybody in the healthcare field knows that you advise some people to do something, they just say, "Doctor, leave me alone, Joe." The person had a stroke because he's smoking. You tell them to stop smoking, they say no, they continue to smoke. The risk factor has not been removed. They continue to have the risk for stroke. their cholesterol continues to be high, they continue to have problems with their vascular tree, and then the recovery becomes slower. Same thing with other risk factors, including high blood pressure and diabetes. I don't know if I answer any questions. Anybody has an addition? I didn't prepare for that answer, so.
Thank you, sir. It's scary to speak after a doctor has spoken, but let me give my 2 cents. Just like he rightly said, the site of the stroke matters, because where the blood vessel supplies, is what will determine the deficit that the person will have. I think one of the difficult strokes that I've seen is that cerebellar stroke. It's I think if people don't recover from that, they don't fully recover from my experience. And then, just like he repeatedly said about blood clots, when that is easily removed, the person recovers. One kind of stroke that I see that is difficult to recover is when they have major hemorrhagic stroke as well. That's a very difficult stroke, because you have a lot of bleeding into the brain, and that puts a lot of pressure on the brain cells. So depending on the severity of the brain bleed, then that can actually be that can also be a risk factor. So severity is different. Some people, their stroke, what we call their stroke, is actually just TIA. So if a person has a TIA, which is a transient ischemic attack, they can recover fully that you wouldn't even know, because it's not like a total blockage. The size of the clots, the part of the brain that is affected by the blockage or the hemorrhage will affect what the deficits that the person will have, and the severity of the damage will also affect how quickly they recover. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. If we still have some other questions, we can always see doctor for that. God will help us in Jesus' name. All right, so we have another session we are going into, which we often, especially in Christendom, we often overlook it. We don't want to talk about it, and that is about mental health. And before we go into that, I was supposed to talk on where we can get affordable screenings and clinics. We have a PowerPoint made for that, but just because we didn't start at exactly 3 o'clock, we're going to talk to the church if we can send that to the WhatsApp group, so that we can have the PowerPoint of these things that we have on ground, so that we can have access to them. But just in a nutshell, about us getting preventive screenings at affordable prices, we have them everywhere. It depends on the location where you live. But on that slides, I have some common areas, listed there that you can go. And another thing is that most people feel like because I have insurance, and when I go to the hospital, it is whatever bill that they give to me that I have to pay. Most oftentimes, it doesn't work that way. You can actually tell them if you are low income. We don't have the slide for that, because I don't think we have anybody that work in that kind of department, so we don't have access to the slide that is used to, say this is low income or not. But you can always ask them that, okay, I'm low income. This price that you're giving to me, do you have, what do we call it now? Do you have resources or things for low income people and things like that? And if they have, they will let you know. I'll talk from a personal experience. When my daughter went for her eye surgeries, the bill they gave to us, even though with insurance, was $120,000, and insurance wasn't going to cover everything, which we know that. And they gave us a ridiculous amount of money to pay from pocket. And I was telling my husband, we're not going to pay that. I was like, how are you going to do it? I said, just wait. And I gave them a call, and I was like, we're going to come bring our pay slips and everything, and you guys will see whatever you can do for us. Even though if you don't qualify for that, they have some charities that can come into play for you. And especially for women, for mammograms, especially Parkland, they have like mobile clinics that does that for people. Once you clock 40 or you're above 40, or you feel like you have a risk factor for it, then you can get that done. They have different dates that they do that, but if you do need more, information on that, you can always, approach us and we can give you information on that. And for dental clinics as well, you have UT Southwestern, we have Dallas College, we have Texas A&M, that even though they are not free, but some come on sliding scale, some will come for, just free because they have students using that as a means of learning. So if you are supposed to pay like let's say maybe 2,000, they might bring it down to 500. So it's like you're not paying anything. And for colonoscopy, to my knowledge, colonoscopy costs almost $7,000, which, if you have insurance, it's $7,000. And if you have EGD to be done with it or some other things, the price might go up. But on that slide, there is a place that you can pay between $1,500 to $2,000. But let me give you this disclaimer. If you go to any of those places, they will ask you for your pay slip. They will ask for your social security number. Reason being this, they don't want people that can afford those things to get those benefits, which I think is fair enough. So they really want to be sure that you are actually you don't have insurance or you are under low income. So they are going to ask for those things. And for clinics, we have Los Barrios is in Dallas. We have VCare Clinic in Carrollton. Those places, $40 for you to see a doctor. And even though if they are referring you to go do maybe MRI and things like that, because they are low income and for underinsured people, they have places that they have network with that they can actually refer you to. I've seen someone that was supposed to do an MRI, maybe $1,000, and when they referred from that place, the person ended up paying $350, and you can still have payment plan. So don't let us say because healthcare is kind of expensive, we're not going to get the preventive screenings that we need. There are always resources. And the only thing holding us back is because we don't talk about it. We don't ask questions. Even though when you go to hospital and emergency and they bill you $30,000, call them back and tell them, do you have programs? I've forgotten I can't really get the name of what they call those programs now. And ask them that this bill you have given to me, I can't afford it. I don't have insurance or this and that. And they will say, okay, we'll call you back. They will give you forms to fill. Be honest with you, fill the form. If they can give you discounts, they will give it to you. If they can knock off the whole thing, they will knock it off for you. But there are resources. Please, I'm emphasizing. Don't let us say because we don't have insurance or we don't have this and that, we're not going to go for all these screenings. They are important. I've seen people that they were supposed to come down with different kind of cancers, but just because they were able to see it or diagnose them at the first stage, and they have a normal and healthy life, and they keep going for screenings every now and then. But if things get to the later hands before we start running around, if the damage has been done like stroke, it's very difficult to bring things back to what it's supposed to be. So we have the slide prepared, but because of time, I won't be able to run through everything. And I can as well try to put it in a Word document and print it out so that we can, have access to it. And in case you want to refer to it some other time, because if we put it on WhatsApp, we can only pin it for 30 days. And after that, you might not be able to see because of the flow of messages that comes in. Do we have any questions on that? If I don't mention any preventive screenings that you feel like you do, if you ask us, we can always help you research on it free of charge. Thank you, and God bless us. And now we are moving to the next part, which is about mental health. And we have a board-certified nurse practitioner that will be handling that in person of Sister Funke Adesanwe.
Good afternoon, church. Today, I would like to thank everybody for this opportunity to be able to present about mental health. It's something that is very important to me. It's something that I personally have, struggled with and I've overcome. And I know by God's grace, if anyone is in here that is struggling with anything mental health related, I know that God can take care of you also. Next slide, please. All right. One of the purpose and goals of this presentation is to talk about how mental health integrates our emotional, our physical, and spiritual well-being. It kind of highlight how they both kind of interact with each other and influence us. We need to also increase mental health awareness, so everybody knows. To accept that mental health is real, to be able to know that it's it's acceptable to have mental illness. It's acceptable to struggle with it, and that there are help. And we need to recognize the signs of like depression, anxiety in both adults and children, and we can kind of accept it because there are biological and hormonal factors that affect mental illness also. Next slide, please. All right, let's talk about the biology in relation to mental health. All right. So there are multiple neurotransmitters that causes a lot of people to have mental illness. One of those neurotransmitters is serotonin. Serotonin kind of help balance our mood, help us with our appetite. And dopamine is another neurotransmitter that influence our motivation, our reward, our attention. Norepinephrine and GABA helps us with our alertness, our stress, and a lot of the medications that we give patients that struggle with these things. You will see antidepressants as like serotonin in it, or you have anti-anxiety like gabapentin that has GABA in it. And neurotransmitters also affect mental illness. So we'll talk more about them. Next slide, please. Another thing that is very important is genetics. When it comes to mental illness, you see some parents have anxiety, and then you see some of the kids also struggling with it. Like Pastor said yesterday, and Dr. Adewi has already said today, God can go into our past and kind of help us into our present. But there are also genetic influences that affect how our brain develops, how we handle stress, how we regulate our emotions. There are psychiatric conditions like depression, bipolar, that has shown strong familiar patterns. Okay, next slide, please. So before we diagnose anyone with like any kind of psychiatric illness, we want to rule out any kind of medical problems that could be causing someone to show the symptoms of depression. One of those things we check for is CBC. We make sure that you're not having low energy because your white blood cell count or your hemoglobin is low. We make sure that you're not having any problem with your thyroid or your vitamin B12 or vitamin D. Next slide, please. All right. So next slide. All right. The first thing we're going to talk about is depression. Can I have the paperwork distributed, please? So depression doesn't come, oh, I feel sad or I'm not feeling good today. Some people can just have low energy. They don't have appetite. Their mood is low. They feel like, oh, I just don't want to do anything. My interest is low. So it's important to have an idea where you are in depression and kind of track it. And I have distributed we're distributing like a piece of paper right now that kind of help. The first part is depression. So you can kind of say, okay, am I sleeping okay? On a scale of 0 to 3, how is my sleep? On a scale of 0 to 3, how is my interest in doing this? On a scale of 0 to 3, am I feeling guilty? Am I feeling worthless? How is my energy? Can I concentrate? On a scale of 0 to 3, and you kind of tally that together and you kind of give your depression a level and say, okay, you know what? Today, this last 2 weeks, I feel like my depression is like a 2 out of 27, okay? So I'm good. The next month, you check your depression levels again and see, okay, am I getting worse? Am I getting better? So that way you can track. If your depression is getting worse, you can see, okay, do I need to get help? Do I need to sleep better? Do I need to exercise better to make myself feel better? Genetic and neurotransmitters can help with that. You know, we can give medications. Therapy can help boost the immune response. And early intervention is key, especially with our kids. And we're going to get to the slide with the kids. You know, when you figure out, okay, this child used to be very active. It used to be very happy. And now all of a sudden something is different. We need to recognize it. by God's grace, we will not have any of our kids in this church committing suicide in the name of Jesus. Next slide, please. This is where, okay. Can we go back to the depression slide real quick? It was funny enough, earlier this week, I had a patient that came in. He was a deacon in the church, and he was like, oh, I have thyroid, I have this, I have, I have high blood pressure, and now I have depression. I don't understand why I have depression. And I'm like, when you were talking about high blood pressure, you were okay. When you were talking about your diabetes, you're okay. Why is it that when you started talking about feeling depressed and feeling sad, why are you all of a sudden not okay with that? We need to start normalizing, okay, I feel depressed, and it's okay to feel depressed sometimes, but we need to be able to accept it and try to say, okay, what can I do to feel better? What can I do to make myself, feel better? What am I doing wrong right now? Is it my diet? Is it my, sedentary lifestyle? Is it, I don't want to talk to anybody. Maybe I need to start interacting more with people. And next slide, please. Anxiety. On the paper that we have anxiety screening also. We need to rate out now. A lot of people are high functioning depressive patients and high functioning anxiety patients. They are constantly worrying. They are constantly looking at the back. They cannot sleep. They feel like, I cannot stop myself from thinking about things. And when I can't stop myself from thinking about this, it affects my sleep. It affects the way I concentrate. And sometimes a lot of people just need someone, do therapy. I don't like doing medication first. Okay, let's talk to someone. Why are you having anxiety? How can you cope with this? Next slide, please. All right, let's talk about our children. And children also often show mental health symptoms through behaviors like irritability, hurting, or is there something else going on? And is there somebody in your school bullying you? Is there somebody in your school putting you down? Is that the reason why you don't want to go to school today? Let's try to figure out what's going on. It's important to, go to school with the kids, eat lunch with them, see how they interact with their peers, see if everything is okay with their teachers. So that way, if they start acting different, what happened with that friend? What's going on with that friend? We need to kind of make sure that they don't have anxiety. Are you worrying about something? So we need to ask those kind of questions with our kids, make sure they're not getting bullied, make sure they're not stressed about their grades. Next slide, please. As parents, we need to know how we respond to our kids. Instead of asking, why are you acting like this? We need to ask, what's making you feel this way? What's going on with you? Why are you not able to sleep? Are you having nightmares? Is something going on? What did you do that is making you have nightmares? We need to create homes where children feel safe enough to share what they're going through. When our kids come to us and say, hey, Mom, this is how I'm feeling. No, you're not supposed to feel that way. You're a child of God. You're disregarding how they're feeling. So, okay, tell me more about it. How are you feeling? What is going on in your life? What is going on in school? Did you hear something that made you feel bad? Let them be able to express themselves. Don't shut them down. Next slide. We must also watch for changes. I kind of mentioned that earlier. When they suddenly become withdrawn, they're hangry, they don't want to do what they used to do. We need to pay attention to their sleep patterns. Sometimes just go to their room, make sure they're sleeping, check their appetite. And some kids also show the signs of depression. They don't have the appetite. They just feel like they don't want to do anything. They just want to stay at home. We need to watch for this. We need to ask open-ended questions and listen without judging them. And seeking help and asking for help is very important. Next slide. So this is one of my favorite part because there's a lot of controversies around this. Next slide. Next. It looks like our man doesn't want us to see the next slide. Well, we're gonna talk about it. This is the hormonal aspect of mental illness. I've had some patients come to me and say, 10 days before my period, I just feel irritated. I just feel like I'm angry. I feel like I just can't stand people. I can't stand my husband. Just 10 days before my period. Well, I don't understand what's going on. And recognizing that, we help them. We say, okay, let's do therapy. If therapy doesn't work, let's give you some medications during that time that can help you not get irritated, not have anxiety, during this time. So a lot of times recognizing, okay, this is around the time my spouse looks like it's coming. Let me pay attention to it. Let me treat her better. Let me be nice to her. And it's kind of important for our men to know this. This is very important. And next slide, please. Next slide. Oh, the women do not want us to know what's on the next slide. We need to know what's on the next slide. No. Back. Next slide is also important. Back. No. Next. There you go. Our men also have hormonal imbalances, Sometimes when our men are stressed, they're going through a lot. Sometimes it affects their testosterone. They also have what we call man syndrome, where they get irritated, they feel like they're tired, they're having anxiety. Sometimes when our men are feeling this way, we need to ask them, when was the last time you checked your testosterone level? Maybe it's low because you're having anxiety, you're feeling fatigue, you're getting tired. Please, let's go and check this level. Let's make sure it's okay. Maybe that's why you're feeling this way. Sometimes common vitamin D can make our men feel better, or even just testosterone. Just giving them testosterone medication can help them feel better, and they won't need antidepressant. And imagine if a couple know that, okay, my man is feeling this way because his cortisol level is high, is low, and now his testosterone is low, also his cortisol is high. Okay, maybe this is why my man is feeling stressed. Let me not stress him out even more. And if our men understand that, hey, okay, this is the time my wife usually have her cycle. Okay, let's kind of, let me not stress her during this time. Let me be understandable during this time. I think it will help a lot of marriages in our time. Next slide, please. Cortisol is essential for survival, but chronic elevation can harm the heart by disrupting sleep and immune function. So a lot of people, when you're stressed and you're not sleeping okay, your cortisol level can be high. And I kind of mentioned that earlier. For our men, when their cortisol level is high, the testosterone gets lower. So we need to help them not get too stressed. High cortisol level interfere with serotonin and dopamine, and worsening anxiety and depression symptoms. So sometimes you just need less stress. You need to rest. When you feel like, what, I don't even want to see my kids around, I'm tired, I don't want to see nobody, I just want to lay in bed. Maybe you need to lay in bed. Maybe you need to rest. You need to rest so that way you don't feel that way. Sometimes therapy, lifestyle changes, spiritual practices, and medication can help and promote emotional balance. Next slide, please. Prevention starts with everyday RB. Like, prevention is better than cure. Sleep early. Sleep early. Sleep for at least 8 hours during the night. Eat balanced nutrition. Exercise. Get some vitamin D in your system. Outside. Right now, the weather is good. Get some walk. Teach our kids how to cope. Okay, this is how you're feeling. You're stressed out. I need you to know how to express yourself. Teach our kids how to express their feeling and how to ask for help. And strong relationship, family connections, and faith all serve as protection against mental health. Next, please. I would like to close with this. Our faith is powerful, and prayer gives us strength, comfort, and hope. But God also gives us doctors, therapists, and medicine as tools for healing. Just like we pray for someone with high blood pressure and still encourage them to take their medication, we do the same for mental health. Faith and treatment work together, not against each other. Where we break the silence, support one another, and seek help when needed, we build a stronger, healthier community. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Do we have anyone with questions on mental health? It's broad, but she did a good job at trying to compress it for us. Because if she were to explain the serotonin, dopamine, we will not leave here today. Do we have questions? Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Let's give her a round of applause once again. That was a very, very well presented talk. So my question is on sleep. I think my question would be in 2 or 3 phases. Number one, how underrated is sleep? Because we've been taught, like, if you want to do well, you have to burn the midnight oil, you have to sleep less and stay awake more. That's how you get, that's how you succeed in life. And even sometimes, even spiritually, even some preachers say, you are sleeping, you're supposed to be praying all through the night. Pray, and things like that. They make us feel like if we are not praying at night or we are sleeping too much, quote unquote, we are lazy. So how much important is sleep to our mental health? And if I may ask, how much sleep is recommended for us to be able to have a fairly good mental health?
I believe we need at least 8 hours of sleep every night. I know that's hard, even as possible. I feel like there's time for everything. If you feel like, okay, I want to pray during the night, make sure you're able to balance it with naps during the day. Create yourself a schedule and say, okay, from this time to this time, this is my prayer time. And from this time to this time, this is my nap time. Nobody disturb me. You have to be able to balance both, because I've seen a lot of people that end up getting diagnoses with schizophrenia because they didn't sleep. Now they are seeing things. By God's grace, that will not be our portion in Jesus' name.
All right, do you have any other person with questions? Okay. And then before we take that question, some of us got the questionnaires and some of us don't get. And we'll try to make more copies tomorrow. The one we tried to make now is not clear. So if you fill that questionnaire and you don't understand what it means, of course you might not understand it. You might say, Sister Funke, and then she might just be able to explain it to you and tell you probably you need to see and refer you to your own primary care physician or a psychiatrist or something like that. But because of time, she's not able to actually go into details about what those scales and everything, what they actually mean. So if you feel it and you have any question, please feel free to reach out to her free of charge.
Thank you so much, Sister Funke, for that wonderful speech, please. My question is around cortisol. Then, is it serotonin or serotonin, right? And the third one is dopamine. Can you break this down a little bit for us to understand, Plain business now.
Maybe I will give that one to the pharmacist to explain.
Well, I think she already kind of mentioned it briefly. These are just neurotransmitters that dictate how we feel. Some people, when they have a certain medical condition, they either have very little of those neurotransmitters, and that will alter the way they feel. For instance, if someone has, doctor is here, he can correct me if I'm going, sideways. if somebody has high serotonin, for instance, they can have, high energy. But if they have low, then they will have low energy. So sometimes what these medications that correct these disease states, what they do is to try to regulate those neurotransmitters in the body. So if maybe you are having low serotonin or low dopamine, for instance, they give a medication that blocks the receptor that retake these meds back into the these neurotransmitters back into the body. They stay in the synaptic cleft, and once they are there and their concentration is high in those places, they give you that energy that you're looking for. So I'm not sure if I'm able to help a little bit with that. Do you have something?
Yeah, a lot of times when we go through stress in life, or we go through a traumatic experience, for example, it kind of we struggle with having our body naturally produces serotonin, right? Sometimes when you go through that stress and you go through struggles of life, which is normal, your serotonin level gets lower, or the pathway that the serotonin gets to your brain gets blocked. So what medications do is they give you more of those serotonin, so that way you can naturally build it. And if you still don't have that serotonin, where I work, they offer what we call ketamine treatment. And what that does is it goes in your brain, open up those pathways, so that way the medications we're giving you is getting to the right channel. So we have a lot of treatments. You can do TMS where they stimulate your brain and open those pathways in your brain. So that way, the medications I'm giving you, it's working, it's going through the right pathway. You're feeling the joy again, you're feeling happy. I've had a lot of success story with those medications. I know we are in church, we don't talk about ketamine or all the other stuff, but there are stuff that helps. And another thing that I kind of recommend that everybody at least should have a provider. Just in case you go through a stress, you can request FMLA paperwork and say, I need mental health break. I feel a lot of those kind of paperwork. Okay, this person is feeling severely depressed. They need time off work. I sign them 1 month. They need time to not work. Exactly. A lot of these people, they come to me and say, hey, I've been feeling depressed for years, and I'm now feeling good. I said, okay, let's try this medicine. Let's try that. Oh, it's still not working. Okay, now let's do TMS. That's a month, a 6 weeks long treatment. That means 6 weeks while you're doing that treatment, while I'm adjusting your medication, you don't want to work. We can give you that. We can say that, don't come to me again. But yes, we can do that.
So for you to get that FMLA, you need to be diagnosed with a certain condition. And you can't wake up today and say, I have depression today, and you want FMLA today. It has to be like they need to see the progression that, okay, you've been on treatment for it, and it's actually there. Because they know people might want to take that opportunity and say, I'm depressed, I have anxiety. I've seen students, while I was in school, that used that opportunity to get extended time for writing an exam. If an exam is supposed to be 60 minutes, they get like 90 minutes for it. They have accommodation for it. Some will tell you, anytime I want to write an exam, I go to the restroom to go and poo. And that is an anxiety. They will tell you, and you go to a doctor, they give you something for it. And you take it to school, they give you extended time for it. If you know you actually take longer time to process things, and it can help you to do well in your exams as well. Okay, doctor, I see you, sir. But
about norepinephrine, serotonin, dopamine, serotonin, and cortisol. I think they handle the serotonin and the dopamine. The cortisol. The cortisol is a hormone produced by a gland called the adrenal cortex on top of the kidneys. So your kidney is here, the adrenal cortex sits right on top of it. The job of that hormone is actually a stress hormone. It goes almost hand in hand with epinephrine or adrenaline. Of course, adrenaline is not produced by the same type of cells, different cells in the same organ. So what it does is a stress hormone. So when you're under a lot of stress, the level goes up to help you cope with the stress, just like adrenaline. But is designed to go up when needed and go down promptly after this problem has been solved. Okay, so let's say you are sleeping, your cortisol level is low, but you've got to wake up. In order to wake up, your cortisol level, because it has what they call a diurnal rhythm. What that means is that the amount of cortisol you produce varies. There's a difference between the amount you produce in the day or in the night. During the day, you have a higher level because you need it. You need it to be alert, awake, respond to the stresses of life, do your activities. When you are sleeping, you don't need all that. You just relax and you sleep. But when you are awake, then the cortisol level actually goes up to early in the morning, and it helps you to start with your day. However, if it remains high for longer than necessary, especially if it happens perpetually or 24 hours a day, then that becomes a trouble because it puts you in a hyperkinetic stage and you are not able to control what you need to control. Like my sister was saying, like someone says, oh, I can't stop thinking about it. Well, because there's a hormone that prevents you from stopping thinking about it. Okay. Of course, cortisol also can increase blood sugar level because it's designed to do that. And when that happens persistently, it could be a risk factor for diabetes, and they call that condition hypercortisolism. Well, like any other thing in medicine, find out why. Does the person have a tumor in the adrenal gland that is producing too much cortisol? Now, cortisol itself, the adrenal gland is controlled by another organ in the brain called the anterior pituitary. So it could be because the stimulus from the brain is coming too much to the adrenal glands to produce too much cortisol. In that case, you go after the brain to remove what is causing it. If the tumor is in the adrenal gland that is just autonomous and just producing cortisol above the level that it's supposed to do, you go after that tumor. If it's because of stress in that person's life, then you have to look for stressors in his life and reduce the stressors. So again, it's a root cause analysis. What is the cause? Attack the cause. If you don't attack the cause, for example, a doctor could give you medication to reduce cortisol level. If you have an adrenal tumor producing cortisol, doctor gives medication to reduce cortisol level. It's like Band-Aid. That tumor continues to produce cortisol. Medication is reducing its level. Well, you feel better, then you feel worse, then you feel a little bit better at chasing your tail.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I think the doctor has said what I was going to say. I was going to answer that layman's word for the neurotransmitters could be chemicals. I think we understand what chemicals are. Well, because everything is kind of coming down to biology. And we know you cannot talk about your body without talking about biology. You know, biology gives you the understanding of how your body is made up. You have muscles and you have nerves. And the nerves have to communicate for things to happen in your body, in your brain. You know, like doctors gave an example of you having pain in your thigh and your brain is interpreting it. So something is released, which we cannot begin to bring down. Those are the things that God already put in place. You know, it's like I'll say layman's word, liquid chemicals that flow from nerve to nerve for them to do what they need to do. But doctor has, given the advanced answer.
All right, thank you very much. You have okay, this will be the last question for this session, please. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So my question is, what would cause like a reduced testosterone in women? Like, what could? So that's what I thought. But I guess women to have some level of testosterone. So, yes. I mean, I was shocked to hear that. Yes. So, what could cause, you know, the level to be low in women?
So, I mean, I believe just like in men.
Answer the question because I wanted to add something to that, as related to what you said regarding marriage. understanding those hormonal imbalances in your spouse, like the testosterone in men and also in in estrogen in women. Can you speak more to that understanding? Because sometimes what we're praying about as spiritual could just be simple hormone, so that the work of the pastor can be less.
There's just there's different stages in our cycle for women. When we get to that stage where it's about 2 weeks to a week, usually some people will experience it like a week before the cycle, and once the cycle is over, the hormones are balanced again. They're happy again. They're just okay. I'm fine. Nothing is wrong anymore. I'm okay now. And with men, a lot of the cause is stress. When you're so much stressed, like Doctor explained earlier, your cortisol level is high, and that lowers your testosterone. So sometimes for our men, it's just okay. They're thinking about how do I take care of my family? I have family, my parents, and my wife's parent. I have all this stress on my head, and sometimes just helping them reduce that stress can help their testosterone level. And sometimes I've seen people getting testosterone shot. Get the medications and get that taken care of,
So,
okay.
Hold on, Sister Abigail.
Yes, sir.
Because I think this is very practical. And the reason why I'm saying this is I've come across this in diverse ways. You are in the house with somebody. Everything was good. You are laughing. And you wake up the next morning. And everything turned around. You are wondering whether it's a stranger that is in the house, or the same thing that you will say before that is normal becomes abnormal, and just trigger something. And then it also happens to men, and I've seen that with myself as well. Maybe I have a serious deadline, a meeting coming up, something that I need to get done, and I've been up with it all day, just running through this stuff, and then I come home trying to sleep, and somebody is saying, I have this to say. This is not time for anything. That kind of stuff. So my question would be then, are there some form of, I understanding, avoidance, just know that this person, that's what they are now. Are there other things that can be done, to ensure effective communication and management of that kind of a thing, that everybody understand where, okay, that's where he is right now, this is what I can do to be of help, because marriage is helping one another, to be the best kind of thing. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
I think personally, I feel like it's personal awareness that around this time, I'm going through a lot of stress, and just telling your wife, hey, I'm going through stress right now. I might act a little strange, so everybody is aware. So when that happened, the wife also understand that, most likely my husband's cortisol level is high right now. We're both aware. I feel like that person are aware. Sometimes just learning how to cope with it. Okay, I'm stressed right now, and I overreacted. Let me apologize. Okay, I apologize. I don't want to blame it on my cortisol because I don't know what my levels are right now, but it could be that. And just maintaining that, being aware personally, and the other party also, being aware and learning how to, cope with it. Those are the things that can help us.
Thank you, Pastor. I think I probably have to. I didn't want to speak, but I had to speak. The human body is the most complicated machine I've seen in my life. I've studied the human body for about 46 years now. It's so complex that I can't even imagine how mighty God is, because everything affects the other person. I mean, the next thing, and this is what I mean. These hormones are a lot of chemicals going around in our body, and the way one person responds to that hormone level is different from how another person reacts to that person. And the example that you gave, in which someone is nice now and the next person is not, and the next day is not nice, or there's a change, it's because the interval between the two periods of time, there has been some changes which are both physical and non-physical and spiritual that has happened over time, that has changed the response of that person to that scenario. So in other words, it's a complicated situation in which today the person is nice and tomorrow morning is a different person. It's a mixture of emotional, physical, and background things. That is, it's like when you plant a seed, the response of that seed, I mean, you can plant 4 different types of seeds on different types of soil, and then there's a whole lot of difference between what you get from the 4 seeds, because what they are germinating on is very much different. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's very complicated, honestly. Remember, this is very complicated.
Thank you very much, sir.
Somebody had told me that the testosterone for female was low. So I was wondering, lady, so I was just wondering what would be like a cause of that. That wasn't. Oh, it's the.
Okay, if you need more clarification on that, doctor will be able to answer that. Now,
again, the adrenal cortex produces so many steroids. There are many steroids. There are tens of steroids that everybody has. It's not as if men have testosterone only and women have estrogen and progesterone only. No. We almost have the same hormones, but at different levels. Men obviously have much more testosterone than women. Women obviously have more estrogen and progesterone than men. But then there are some other steroids that we all share together, like DHEA. DHEA means dihydroepiandrosterone. There are other hormones like pregnenolone and estradiol. So many of them, we can't even continue to count. Now, low testosterone in women is not common. It's not as common as high testosterone, but both of them do occur, and they have different symptoms. Of course, in men, testosterone affects sexual function. In women, estrogens and progesterones affect menstrual cycle. And that is why, for example, my sister was talking about someone who might have depression 10 days before their menstrual period. It's because during the cycle of a woman, there's a lot of changes that happen over the 28 or 30-day period. In the first half, they have more estrogens. In the second half, they have more progesterone. Now, progesterone has effect, just like estrogens, on mental state and awareness and reaction to stress. Estrogens too, but progesterone have more effect. That's why it's more likely that the woman will have those symptoms in the second half. That is, and the second half precedes the next bleeding. So, when a woman has a high testosterone level, they have some features that almost resemble male features, like more aggressive, more muscular, and stuff like that. But also, if the testosterone level is too low in a woman too, that could also cause a low libido. So and if your question is what is the cause? By and large, stress and liver diseases and diet are the most likely causes of changes in testosterone in both men and women. Of course, in men, there are some other causes, but if you put all of them together, men and women, stress, liver disease, and diet. If you look at what they put in the food we eat in this country, you'll be surprised when you read the nutrition factors. Some things you can't pronounce. Some things I can't even pronounce myself. I don't know if that scratches the surface of the answer to your question.
Thank you, sir. Pastor, are you satisfied? So please, if we have questions on mental health, please, we're going to draw the curtain here now because we paid for the CPR and this is already past 5. I'm sorry. If we have questions, please, Pastor, I'm sorry. And every other person, I'm sorry as well. Because, so I pray that God will give us more time. Maybe next month, we can continue on mental health. Please write your questions down. Maybe our slot for next month, maybe we can continue on this particular topic. So, Sister Funke, so please get prepared. So please, if you have questions, you can send it to me or you can send it to her directly. So that will be the first thing we tackle on next month when we have our health presentation. So at this time, we're just going to take a break just to have Kahoots. Want to ask you some questions to see how you know about your health. And the Lord will help us in Jesus' name. That should take about 5, 8, 10 minutes maximum. And then we go to CPR. Technical, over to you.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so we're going to the Kahoots now, and disclaimer, it's just bragging rights if you get any question right. Okay, so you can go ahead and scan that QR code and then put in the game pin. Yeah. What's Smiling Phoenix? I see only 4 people. Oh, okay. It's blurry. Oh, sorry. Oh. Damian Chelsea. Oh, yes. L partitioners do not join. Sorry. Sorry. I'm sorry, Auntie. Auntie was ready. Pastor Ayo, you did a little bit. Queen Ayo, s'il vous plaît, can you go out? Okay. Is that everyone? All right, blessing. Let's start. Okay. So you should see the question pop up on your phone. All right, so which part of your body has most bones? Even I don't know. Okay, you can see it? Can you see it? So you should see like the colors on your phone and just pick the answers on it. Yeah. No, why are you saying the answer? Okay. Hands and feet. Pastor Ayo. Oh, sorry. Okay, question 2. David, Pity, and Joel. Who's Pity? How much? Oh! Sorry, Pity. How much of human body is water? We should know this. Even me, I know it. Oh, okay. Okay, those 3 people, those 6 people. All right, next. Oh, okay. Our kids. I'm proud of y'all. Which is not a mental health benefit of exercise? which is not a benefit. Yeah. If you don't get this one. Okay, next. Which vitamin do you get most from sunlight? S. Vitamin S. Oh, it's not even there. That was quick. Vitamin C. Sorry, y'all. They should show the name of the people that are getting it right. Okay, what should you do first if someone is choking? I know we have not been taught this one yet, but you know. Do you give someone that is choking water? Or you just ignore, just like, yeah, they will be fine. I mean, yes, but no. I understand the reasoning of pat lightly, but no. Ignore. Next. What does BMI stand for? Remember the thing that we did outside? What does it stand for? Because I actually did not tell anyone intentionally. That's good. What type of exercise is best for heart health? Is it sleeping? I'll choose sleeping. Cardio. How many of us are doing cardio? Okay, next. What is the normal adult resting heart rate range? One 20/220. I mean, only 2/220. Oh, sorry. Oh, David. I was rooting for you. Sorry. Which food is highest in fiber? Candy. Is it beans? Is it beans and dodo? Okay. And beans is not protein, y'all. It's carbs. It's carbs. It's carbs. Though. All of you that love eating beans. How many muscles do you use to smile? Okay, about 17. What's your strongest muscle in the body based on size? Your jaw. Okay, next blessing. Okay. What color is your stomach acid? Stop saying the answer aloud, please. Oh! Oh! I was not expecting this. I wasn't expecting. How long would your small intestine stretch out? This one. Oh, okay. Even I don't know. I thought it was more than 20 actually. I thought it was more than 20. Why do humans hiccup? Your lungs reboot. The answer is obvious for this one, no? Okay, yeah, I mean, obviously. And the last question: what's something your body does automatically about 20,000 times a day? Ah, it's obvious too. Blink. Okay. All right. So thank you, everyone. Who won? 11 out of 15. Ooh! Where's King T? Oh, your wife. Your wife is. Oh. Oh wait. Anyways, where's B? Blessing. Oh, Sister BC. Oh, you're the winner. Oh. And you all have bragging rights.
All right, praise the Lord. All right, praise the Lord. All right, so this is the last part of this program. So we are trying as much as possible to make sure we will end the service or this program at 6 exactly. So this is about CPR, and we have a disclaimer to make here. The fact that we are showing this does not mean that when you see an accident on the way, that makes you someone to go ahead and start practicing CPR. So although we have what we call Samaritan law that can govern people, but it could be, somehow. So if you are not proficient enough, please don't do it. And the way to be proficient in this is this. There are CPR classes that are held in different places. And it just takes token. To renew it is $40 for 2 years. So if it is something you can get to, just to have for your sake and for the family's sake, and you don't know who it's going to be useful for, life has been, restored because of this. Because someone is able to pass CPR on them. So, and why we are doing this is that we want you to be able to see if there is an emergency. We don't pray for it, but it happens. At least you'll be able to know if you're talking to 911 and they ask you, is this person breathing? The first thing you want to do is you want to look at if the chest is rising and falling. But there are other ways in which you can see, even though if you don't see that rising and falling of the chest, that you can be able to say, okay, oh, this person is not breathing or they are breathing. Or if they ask you to do mouth-to-mouth breathing and things like that, but don't do it to someone that you don't know. And that is why we are doing this, so that we can, if there's an emergency. So we don't want us to go out and say, oh, because we watch this in church now, automatically I can actually do it. No. So I think that is that. So we're going to watch the videos, and I'm going to use to Deacon Thomas and Sister Ayo.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. So today we're going to be watching a video from American Heart Association. It focuses on CPR, and it kind of prepares you for emergency responses in both adults and kids. So here we have adult and pediatric mannequin, which is available for demonstration and practice. As you watch the video, I want you to pay attention to the differences in responses in adults versus kids, especially the hand placement, the compression depth, and the overall response. And don't worry, you don't need to memorize everything today, right? This video is just going to walk us through everything step by step. And your job today is simple. So just start kind of getting comfortable with getting your hands, getting hands-on and getting comfortable with doing it. So, and after the video, we'll kind of do a hands-on practice out, together. Thank you. Yeah, we can play that now.
Because about every 90 seconds, a person dies of sudden cardiac arrest. But with the training you receive today, your actions can give a victim the best chance of survival.
Sudden cardiac arrest occurs without warning or within just a few minutes after symptoms appear. The term heart attack is often mistakenly used to describe cardiac arrest. Although a heart attack may cause cardiac arrest and sudden death, they are different conditions. But it's important to call emergency services for both. There's more information on the differences between heart attack and cardiac arrest in your provider manual.
Throughout today's course, we'll review the BLS skills you have learned previously, including adult BLS, child BLS, infant
This, for the sake of time, this is how far we want to take. We have already had an occasion for that of the adult, and we have a video, for that of the infant. I don't know, maybe is there any question? Because we want to see whether a few people can also come and practice and see how it goes, whereby we can be able to give some other dynamics, explain some dynamics of how to go about it. Do we have any question? Yes, sir.
So my question is, take for example, if I'm somewhere and somebody just collapses, should I start doing compression immediately? What are the things I need to first of all do? Are there things that I need to do first of all before I start compressions?
Thank you very much. That's a very good question there. The first thing, just as you saw in the video, we have to make sure that the environment is safe wherever you are, so that you make sure that you yourself that want to rescue somebody, you don't become somebody to be rescued. Haven't done that, then you try to create, make sure that the fellow is alert. That's what you see the guy trying to say. Are you okay? If you know the fellow's name, you can call the fellow's name, tap the person, just to see whether he or she can respond to you. If that is not coming up, then try to see whether the fellow is breathing. Observe whether the chest is rising and falling. Very important. Then you can also try to feel on the by putting your hand on something that you can know that can help you to feel whether air is coming from the nostril or not. Then you can also try to check the pulse. We have seen the guy trying to check the pulse. If it is the adult, you can try to use the radial pulse in the hand somewhere here towards the big thumb. Then you can try. This is the most important one, is the carotid one, the carotid artery that is up here. Moment you see that those three responses are not there, you are not getting anything from there, then we can go ahead to start doing the CPR, which is simply the chest compression. It's worth mentioning here that chest compression must be done on a flat surface. If the fellow is on a mattress or something soft, which will not allow you to be able to press the heart to pump blood into the system, then nothing is being done. I think that answers the question.
Why is the ample bag not used for the adult? But in the case of the child, the ample bag is used for the child. And then the baby, nothing.
Yeah, in the case of the ample bag, okay, we have some examples which is, in both cases, as you can see that we have different sizes here. They are both usable for both. We can use it on the child and we can also use it on the adult, if that answer that as fast as we are concerned. You see the small one, the big one. So ambu bag can be used, but they are in the context of what we are trying to say here, except you have ambu bag at home, you might not be able to, you may not even have access to it. So most of the time what they do there is mouth-to-mouth breathing. You have to say something. So the substitute is the mouth to mouth. Yeah, either. Okay. Do you have more questions before we go to the technicalities that are involved? Okay, if there's no question, do you have volunteers? Some people that want to try what we have there. Meanwhile, we've seen it all, but there are some things that we need to take note of whenever we want to do CPR. This includes the fact that the patient must be at least somewhere where your hands can be straight. Your elbows must be locked. Your elbows shouldn't be this way. So for my height now, this might be good for me. This table might be good. If I have something like this, I can't do CPR on a table of this level. I may have to get additional height to it. So the principle is that your hands must be able to be straight like this, so that when you press, you are not bending your hands. Okay? If it is on the floor, you may have to kneel down, which is one of the best places. So, as I said earlier, it must be done on a firm surface, because the principle is that we want to squeeze the heart against the spinal cord, whereby it will push blood into the system. Whatever you are doing in which blood is not being pumped into the system is zero. We won't be able to achieve the best of it. Then we need the hands to be locked. And I do discover that those that are left-handed will possibly need to have the left hand down pressed by the right hand. And those that are right-handed, it's good that you have the right hand first. Okay. You should also take note that your point of pressure, application of the compression, should be somewhere in the middle of the chest, measuring from the top here, the notch here, to the end of this spinal bone. Just go somewhere in the middle here, almost align with where the breast starts here. So for this person, if I want to do chest compression for this person, my right hand, I'm right-handed, so my right hand, and this is the part. This very part is where we need to put on that spot. Then put the other hand in here. Then you lock it. So this part is resting on this part to the point where the heart is. Then that's when you can apply the pressure you need to apply. So I lock my hands, I place in the middle of the chest, then at no point my hands are not bending. I'm not doing something like this. No. Straight like this. And as much as possible, you should be like almost not more than like 15-degree angles to your body. You get it between this angle here and this one. If you go far away like this, you can't achieve. So it should be as close as possible to you. And then you continue to give the pressure while you are counting. Those are some of the basic things that you have, the technicalities that you have to do to make an effective CPR. Okay? For the compression. And then we want the compression to be as deep as 2 centimeters or 2 inches or about 5 centimeters. Because if you are just pressing and the heart is not getting the pressure, then the blood will not flow out as said earlier. Okay? Then we have seen how to give the breath. You have to make sure that you tilt the chain, and then you give the breath. If you are doing mouth to mouth, and if you are using the ambo bag, of course we say we are not going to that test because we do not have access to it. We want just in maybe at home or just in a function where this kind of thing happens. Okay? Do we get that? Do we have some people that possibly want to try? Yes. What do you? Yeah. Well, concerning the number of times to press, it depends on how many people we have that are taking or charge done on it. So at least for 2 minutes, somebody will, because it's sometimes tiring. So you may need to do for like 2 minutes and then call somebody to take over for you while the fellow is counting or giving the doing the thing. You are standing then so that you can change. However, we have 30 compressions to 2 breaths, which is both the breaths, the number of breaths in child and adult are the same, at least 2 breaths. And you must give a breath to the point that you see the chest come up when you give. If you just do something that doesn't make the chest to come up, then you have not given air to the person. So the purpose is that by the time you give the air and you press, the air goes to the lungs and to the brain. You have to help to put it to the brain, which is very important. You don't want the brain to lose, to get out, go out of oxygen. Okay.
So sorry, Dickie Daniel. What happens when the chest bone breaks?
Yeah, it is that as far as the chest bones are concerned, they don't. It happens sometimes when it is done so aggressively. However, the depth we are trying to achieve does not really break it, because there are cartilages at the end between the sternum bone, this dagger bone, and the ribs, and at the back too. We have that kind of connectivity, so it allows, it gives room for that kind of situation. So most often, it doesn't resort to that, but it's a possibility when you are too aggressive about it.
But, breaking of the bones, the ribs, they do break, but you would rather take that than lose the person. I mean, we see, especially in SNF, we have older adults. We crack their bones. By the time they get to the hospital, some of them don't actually survive CPR. They don't actually survive it. But one thing that I wanted to add is that while you're doing this, actually, you've already called for help. CPR is just to sustain the person until help arrives. So you are not doing CPR as if you are the one that will save the person. It is just like an emergency while you have activated help while you initiate CPR.
Volunteer to try. We have some of our. One person at a time. Wait. Okay. Are you ready? Can you put back a little bit? Let me hold that. Go sit down.
Okay, just.
Why are we leaving this to the kids?
Those are the ones available.
But there will be adults there that can help them. So we need adults to also go and try their hands, please. Yeah, go there. Don't see Dami and Chelsea feeling like adults now.
Yeah, like that. That's too hard. Yes.
see.